interesting. Whereas Chris is playing the Dracotail branded deck, but he's also put in the Magistus cards that we haven't seen just yet. Yep, so we can see Chris open up with the Spenta. So Spenta discards itself to add a Magistus monster from the deck to the hand. And you know, the Magistus cards are all spellcaster monsters, so they pair well with the Dracotail deck, which relies on monsters and spellcast and dragon monsters. And then that we have Zoroa, which is able to equip a Magistus monster from the extra deck, and then when it does, it can special on level 4 spellcast hand or graveyard in defense position, so it's going to be the Spenta. Yep, so now we can use those two to perform a Synchro Summon. The Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, which can banish itself to special summon a Fallen of Albaz or a level 4 monster that mentions it, and if it's in the graveyard, you can target a level 8 fusion monster and one card in the field, shuffle them into deck. So now we see it access the Fallen of Albaz engine, summoning the Fallen of the White Dragon, which we've seen before, special summon. Of seeing other cards, we do see a Magistus Synchro monster and equip the Artemis. Artemis being the original Magistus monster we got way back when. So we'll try to get the timer up at some stage. Yeah, so we can see that this deck doesn't play too crazy into the fusion space like we've seen in past days. But now he's gone to the Arthurelian plays. Arthurelian able to add cards back to gather more resources. It looks like he is leaning more heavily on the Magistus engine. Yeah. So we do see that he Kurt won't be able to use Link monsters, which is quite huge in this matchup. It's in the graveyard, you can target a Magistus card, you control, destroy, and special summon this card, but it won't be able to equip again because that requires a Synchro Summon. Yeah. And it seems like Chris is just constantly going, having that Gulamau now as well. Going. Starts with the Foolish Burial, very powerful limited card, good way to get the deck going. But again, being locked out of Link and Xyz monsters is going to be rough. He chains the original Sinful Spoils as well. But there is that Dracotail Flame. Yeah. Flame being able to negate a spell card on the field, so that's now circumvented by Forbidden Droplets. A very nice interaction, be able to send both the spells to be able to negate up to 2 cards on the field. Yeah. And Chris won't be able to respond with spells, but I think at the stage it's fine. So he's negating both the both fusion monsters, but there's still two more set spells and traps to interact with. So you got the Diabell Star, which we discussed earlier. It's what players are using currently to summon the Dark Magician of Destruction. Yeah, we can here see that was a Triskaris that was sent to the graveyard. No, that's not just. This is Ash Blossom on the Dracotail's Sting, which is incredibly powerful at cutting off their effects, but we do see he's attempting to activate the effect of Ecclesia the Dark Dragon. So Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon's able to banish it and special summon Fallen from Albaz. It does summon the Fallen of the White Dragon. Right, we see the Diabell Star discard a Diabell Star to special summon itself. And that set the now we see another Dracotail. That's all 3 Dracotail traps having been seen. Dracotail Horn being able to return to the extra deck, or the deck, the Diabell Star. Having access to all of those traps is incredibly powerful. Now we see the Deception being played. So Deception tributes a monster in the field or hand and then adds an Azamina card from the deck to the hand. Again, we see how different going first and second is. He adds the Hallowed Azamina. The Hallowed Azamina reveals a fusion monster from the extra deck, and for every 4 levels it has, you can send a Sinful Spoil from the hand or field to the graveyard, and then special summon the revealed monster. So, see what he... So, yep. He'll need... So it looks like he's trying to summon Ilia Sylvia, which I believe is the Omni-Negate of the deck. And then Christopher has his point of interaction now. No, he uses the Australian to be able to return that 10 cards on the field, with a lot of his cards that only do not generate a lot of card advantage, is quite rough. Looks like Kurt is passing back to Chris. No. Oh, the chain has not resolved. Yeah. Yeah. So Kurt proceeds. Hallowed Azamina is in the graveyard. You can shuffle back the Ilya Sylvia and then adds it to the hand, but it's going to be hard because he doesn't have any other Sinful Spoils cards to be able to send at the stage to use its effect again. Now we see the Crystron portion of his deck. We haven't seen the K9 portion of his deck. We've seen two of the engine pieces. Continuing to see the Tis Trivan, I believe its name is. You banish it from graveyard, add a Crystron monster from deck to the hand. Now he's tapping into the Horus part of his deck. He's got King Sarcophagus, so they can send cards from the hand to graveyard to be able to send Horus monsters from the deck to the graveyard and just summon a lot of strong monsters. You see this, that was it. That was the Snigger. Now he's sending the Imseti. He also has the Crystron Inclusion, a very powerful card, which now back at 3. So when it's activated, you add a Crystron card from the deck to the hand, and you banish it to special summon one from the graveyard. So this Horus Azamina Crystron deck has an incredibly high ceiling when it's able to play. And I believe that's a Mu Rasielgo. I believe that's the name. No. So it's interesting to see that while being locked out of Link and Xyz, well, realistically the Xyz material should, the Xyz monster should have been sent to graveyard upon negation of the monster, but we do see that Kurt's able to navigate through this and play fusion monsters. Now we see the Sulfador returning. The deck, when it's able to play, is able to summon a lot of monsters. Sorry, that was the Dark Magician of Destruction, sorry. Now he's in the Tristaros and the Sulfador, so the Crystron deck's able to summon a lot of powerful monsters, such as the Escalatus, which is able to add a Crystron card from the graveyard and banishment to the hand. You see a lot of monsters being summoned on either end. You got a lot of monster interactions about to come up, which is a very good sign of healthy gameplay when you're using monsters to attack over other monsters. And he was able to get the Crystron Cluster, which targets a face-up card, or you can target 2 if you have a Crystron Synchro monster. So you shuffle the Crystron from the graveyard or banish to the deck, and then you destroy the targeted cards. It's just incredible the pace of decks these days, how they're able to push through so many cards, and once they get to play, they're able, the world's available to them. So we had Tristaros to be able to destroy their Skeletus, and then special summon 2 Crystrons from the deck. And you can just see how much these decks can be pushing. He's playing, I believe they're both Sulfaneers. That's interesting that there's 2 copies, and when they're destroyed, they can special summon more Crystron monsters. So this deck just is able to tap into all of the cards in the decks incredibly well. And just be able to see it push through all these cards is huge. So now we just have a full board of monsters against full board of monsters. And we can see that Skeletus attack over monsters which you normally wouldn't be able to do, and it pushes for a bit more life point damage as well. Every point of life point matters, especially in close games where sometimes you might lose your card advantage, but you're able to then switch to a game plan where you just close out the game while trying to ignore as much of their plays as possible. And if this board gets broken, Chris is going to not only have to reconstruct his own, but play through all of Kurt's one, including all those potential interactions he'll end up with once he's been able to assess what monsters are still around after the battle phase. Both players taking the time here to be able to figure out what they want to do. I think every play is crucial at this stage. Yeah, he's using Skeletus to attack over the Arthralian with that 500. And yeah, I think this monster interaction, monster attacking each other is really reminiscent of olden day Yu-Gi-Oh, which we all loved. Being able to just have our monsters in our battle phases as a way to generate advantage, be a sign of what Yu-Gi-Oh used to be, rather than newer Yu-Gi-Oh where monsters are able to destroy each other with their effects and then attack directly. And now unless he wants to take one of his own, but it is another point of interaction that Chris is going to need to play soon. Yeah, there's another Horus Monster summon back just as a body to block, I believe. You're going to set 2 cards and hand it back to Chris, who's going to have to play through all of them. Please. To summon itself back as it was banished. But Kurt, yeah, using the Gaze of Timaeus to be able to summon the Red Eyes Dark Trickery, and while it won't be able to destroy cards, it's still able to use the Spec to negate. But now now Kurt is opting to use a Crystron cluster to be able to destroy both of Chris's cards. It's going to be incredibly difficult for him to come back from this position. Now using the other effect of Ecclesion of the Dark Dragons, able to shuffle back a level 8 fusion monster in the Graveyard of Banishment and one monster on the field. Sorry, one card on the field. I think he's pointing it at the Sun Dragon Infinity. And even in modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, it's quite challenging to see what whose turn it is on initial glance, because every deck has ways to play on their opponent's turn. And then Chris just making sure he's got the effect of all the King Sarcophagus cards. Yeah, it looks his best interest to go first this game. Yeah, we see a hand of 4 monsters as well as the Fallen and the Dragon, should he wish to use it as so. But again, we see the Fallen and the White Dragon start sending Albion, dash summoning Incredible Ecclesia. Yeah, we see this line of play multiple. And we see an almost Lucius as well. Yeah, so with the Blazing Cartesia and the Lucius, it's going to be used to synchro summon the Magistus and equipping the Artemis. So now Kurt will once again be locked out of link monsters while it's on the field and has effect active. Kurt, we saw, was able to navigate through this with the Forbidden Droplets. And he's flying through his turn. And Kurt's still having the 5 mana as well. Well, with the Ash Blossom and the Urgula, we'll summon after Elling and be able to recycle further cards. Yeah, going first is incredibly powerful, especially when you go relatively uninterrupted. Yeah, Urgula also being able to set spells and traps on the deck as well. So once the engine gets going, it is able to do a lot. So we've got the Rahu Dracotail, we've got to be able to summon further monsters if you can end on a Gulamel. We activate the Rahu Dracotail. First just taking a rid of the Magistus. Zorol, which effectively is just monster effect negator with its effect. Dracotail is activated. Summoning a second Australian. And now we see the suite of Dracotail cards being set. So we've got the Horn and the Flame. And now he's going to special summon back Zorola Calamity, which is able to destroy the Artemis and special summon it. So now we can see Kurt again having an entire suite of cards on the field. He's got like both of the Dracotail trap cards. He's got another trap card, and we'll see Kurt try to navigate through this. And again, we have the Fallen and Virtuous as well that we saw. So yeah, we've got 5 spells and traps, 5 monsters. Kurt was able to do it once. Can Kurt do it again? I see he drew what appeared to be a trap card. No, a monster. That's certainly a monster. Harpy's Feather Duster is certainly a very good start to this. But we did see the Dracotail Flame before. Do we have the droplets again? We do have the droplets again. So he sends the Duster and the Sulfury. Sulfury? Yeah. But yeah, that's a very incredible way to start the turn. He has a Dracotail Horn as well that's been used. He's trying to get as much value off his cards as he can before he loses them all. Hopefully, Dracotail Horn will be able to return to the extra deck and then place the Draco card to one deck and draw a card. Hopefully draw into another point of interaction to make up from your spells and traps being all cleared out. Now he's going to opt to see what he negates with the droplets, and he chooses the Light and Dark Dragon as well. Signaling the Light Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon as well as the Lucius look like. But yeah, having droplets both games is incredibly powerful. Let's see if he has enough follow-up to push through all the monsters. He was able to do it last game, and we know how high the ceiling is. Crystron Inclusion, definitely a reasonable place to start. Adding any Crystron card from the deck to hand as well as being able to banish it later to special summon more Crystron monsters. He gets the Sulfador, and he uses the Sulfador to be able to special summon like the Sulfanier. And now he's going to have a lot of plays available to him. There's no way to interact with this. Alphador now is able to use its effect to be able to destroy the Inclusion to special summon it, and then Inclusion then activates to be able to special summon the Crystron in the graveyard. So this whole setup is very synergistic, and he might just have a really good shot at breaking through the board. We saw that Tristaros gets sent to the graveyard as well. this Crystron deck's just able to access all their cards, and if he has access to the Horus side, that's even more powerful monsters that he could summon. And yeah, we can see, like in the previous game, Crystron but we see Christopher respond, being able to summon another Arthralian. And Arthralian trying to, in an attempt to remove both of Kurt's monsters. Shuffled up and ready to go. To get them ready for extension of plays later. Here we go. We do see a sarcophagus monster, so with the Diabell side is going to be able to activate, and I believe it will set the deception. These plays so far have dodged even in the draw phase. It will set the Azamina spell instead. We've seen Imseti as well, so Imseti being used to discard the Crystron to be able to add the King Sarcophagus. And we've seen when this deck is just able to play, it's just able to summon quite big bodies to be able to wall up or push for a lot of damage. Well, if he already has two of the Horus monsters in his graveyard, so that was a Duel. We see the Ghost Bell from Chris, which is able to stop the Crystron Sneaker. Now what we're going to see Kurt is just summon back all the Imseti, the Hop, and Duel. Happy. But yeah, there's not much further he can do through that Droll Lockford and the Ghost Bell. We see a rank 8 play. Well, looks like the number 90 Galaxy Photon Lord. 3,000 defense, and when your opponent activates the card, when your opponent's monster activates effect, you can detach one to negate and to just negate it. And if you have a Galaxy card, you destroy it. But unfortunately, it would just be a negate at this stage. That's looking like the best he can do at this stage. Whereas Chris has access to a Spenta. And he's going to be able to add the Zora, as we saw in game 1, and place on their Zora, then being able to equip from the extra deck to itself. Okay. Might just be hoping that's enough. And we've got the Fallen of White Dragon though. So, and we did see the Ash Blossom in Kurt's hand to be able to stop that, so he won't be able to summon the Incredible Collegiate from it. And we'll see what he does now. He does have 2 level 4 monsters. With the Zora being a tuner. Reconsidering his options here. Yep. Got on Kurt managing, maintaining the game state, making sure monsters were back where they were. Chris going for the Branded Fusion, card that we have not seen in play in either game. So it's incredibly powerful at this point. Sending the Pan and another Fallen of White Dragon. I believe that's Albalena. And it can attack monsters up to the amount of materials used for it, so incredibly powerful. And the Pan is able to destroy the Galaxy Photon Lord, which has 3,000 defense. Instead he was used to just send the T2. Let's see Chris play, banishing the Spenta to be able to equip the Artemis. Now he has searched Crowley. Crowley also a card we haven't seen this match yet, so if it's a face-up card on the field being used as a fusion material, it can be treated as Alice's Invoker, and then if this card's added to your hand, you can spell summon it, and if it's normal summon, you can fusion summon Magistus or invoke fusion monster. That's what we see. See the summon of Ragnar. It's able to equip the Bellstar to itself. Again, it's also able to send a face-up Magistus monster cultivator to negate the monsters. Moving on, Chris ends up with the Secretarian Dragon as well. He's going to be able to push for a lot of damage. That is correct. That's right. Albalena shouldn't be able to be used for the fusion summon, so we'll see if this is picked up by the judge. Yep, looks like the judge or someone was able to pick this up, and we are going back to the previous game state. So it looks like Insectralians are all going to be used to fusion something. What looks like a YCS, a Magistus Spell Spirit. Which is able to take control of the Diabellstar anyway, so it ended up, he still ended up with the Diabellstar and also gained 1000 attack. His turn. We do know that in high pressure tournaments such as YCS, players are bound to miss effects such as Alvalenna's condition to not be able to be fusion summoned. Even judges aren't able to instantly catch some mistakes. Now Chris will end his turn. He has the Fallen and the Virtuous as a point of interaction. Which he does activate to be able to get rid of the King's Sarcophagus, knowing how powerful it is, sending Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon. But now Kurt still has the Crystron portion of his deck. Yep, and having access to Crystron Inclusion again, we'll see him tap into the Crystron Synchro part of his deck. I don't see Chris has any more points of interaction on the field, so he's either got to have something in his hands or that might be lights out. Yeah, we'll continue to see him play. It looks kind of grim for Chris. I believe Kurt's going to be able to access his portion of the deck where he ends up with the Dark Magician of Destruction as well. So here he goes attempting some Ilya Sylvia. Oh. After that sequence of plays, we do end up with Ella Skeletus on the field. And also the Ilya Sylvia, which is a point of interaction as well. Looks like Kurt's trying to pick up the pace, hopefully not losing to potential double loss if there isn't enough time in the round. He goes, yep, destroys the inclusion using the Sulfador. Sulfador is then able to send. So, wow, he's going real quick. He's going straight into that Infinity to be able to take the Secretariat Dragon, and Chris extends the handshake.